Hi everyone, my name is Brett Neely and I'm making an entertainment guide to Huntsville, Alabama, and this presentation is just going to explain a little bit about what that will entail. So here's just an outline of how this presentation is going to go. The first part we're going to talk about is just the purpose for this project, and that's going to involve the client and the audience. The second part is going to be the style of the document and how it will look visually. And the last part, we're going to go over some of the sample topics that will be included in the final project. So the purpose of the project is to create an entertainment guide for Huntsville, Alabama. Our client is Dynetics, and it is a company based here in Huntsville, and they do a lot of they have a lot of projects that work with both the government and with commercial aspects, but they employ a lot of people with STEM careers, so a lot of engineers, a lot of computer scientists, a lot of scientists, a lot of mechanical engineers, and they, to get the best of the best, they go across the country to college recruiting sessions. They look everywhere to bring people in. I personally have some experience with Dynetics. I interned with them over the summer, and during our orientation, they told us that one of their views is that in order to stay successful and to stay relevant, they believe that they need to invest in young people that are very talented and show a lot of promise. So while a lot of companies may only want people that have a lot of experience under their belt, Dynetics believes in hiring at all ranges and hiring lots of people that are young that will keep the workforce going. And so they're looking for bringing in people that can help them grow the company. So therefore, our audience is young professionals, people that are just now starting out in their careers or maybe just about to graduate from college. They have STEM degrees that fit well with the Dynetics, and they are high demand talent, so they are very talented. They showed a lot of promise in school, maybe they've had some internships. Basically, they're students that have a lot of options to them. They could maybe move to Colorado, they could maybe move to California. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of companies based in a lot of different cities across America. So why would they choose Huntsville, who may not really know much about, over a place like Denver, where you know that they have an NFL team, you know that they have skiing there. So basically, the entertainment guide is to show these recruits that there is a lot of fun to be had in Huntsville and show them a little bit about what Huntsville can offer them, because as many of you know, there's much more to life than just your career. And even though Dynetics may be able to offer that great career, the city needs to be able to offer them something to enrich their lives outside of their career. So that's kind of what the whole basis of this project is about. The style of the document is going to be rather informal because we're speaking to younger people. We don't want to bore them. We're not trying to debrief them on some topic. We're trying to almost sell the city in a way. So it's informal so that they can easily read it, easily understand it, and feel happy reading it. It's also going to be very visual because we want them to continue reading the entire document. I know a lot of the stereotype is for younger people these days is that they have all kinds of different distractions going on with all of our new technology. So it needs to be very visual. So colors, different styles in the way the paragraphs are constructed. And there also needs to be lots of images. And the images are part of the visual aspect, but also just because we want to give the reader an idea of what it would be like to actually be at these events. We want them to see this picture, see people having fun, and think, hey, I could be that person in that picture having fun. So it needs to have lots of images. So we've included that in our product. So now I'm going to just talk about some of the sample topics. There are more topics than just these, so I've just selected just a few. So nightlife, museums, and meeting new people are the ones that we're going to talk about in this presentation. So the goal of the different topics is to make sure that there's something in there for everybody. So, you know, a lot of young kids like to go out on the weekends downtown, see friends, but not everybody. So we want to make sure we appeal to everybody. So, you know, we also want to make sure we appeal to the fact that a lot of these young kids with STEM degrees may like learning even outside of work. So, you know, including museums and how they can enrich their mind outside of work. And there's also one of the more important ones, I think, that I've included here in this presentation is how to meet new people. This is not a problem that's unique to Huntsville. It's going to be a problem that anyone faces when they move to any new city. And once it's, you know, it can be kind of lonely. I know some people that have moved to Huntsville and they said that they were kind of lonely until they finally, you know, met a good group of people that they could feel good friends with. So I want to include ways that people can do that, and there are a lot of ways out there that you can meet new people, but until you don't, you know, specifically know about them, it can be kind of hard to venture out beyond the people you work with to meet people. First off, we're just going to talk a little bit about the nightlife section. Um, First of all, Huntsville, well, we're trying to show each unique thing about Huntsville. So Huntsville has a growing craft beer industry that you might not find in any other city. You know, it's pretty unique how many breweries have opened up recently in Huntsville. So we're going to highlight that because it's unique and it's interesting. So we're also going to talk about an organization that's called Downtown Huntsville Inc. They host all these free events, and especially when you're young, free is a big deal. So knowing that there's all kinds of things that you can do downtown that are free, and that just is a great option. And we're going to include some images from some of those free events, and one of them is one you see right here. It's an example from one of the Grotto Lights concert. It's a concert series that happens in downtown Huntsville on Fridays over the summer, and Downtown Huntsville Inc. is one of the organizations that puts it on. So that's just kind of an idea about what nightlife is going to be about. So one of the other topics we're going to have in our project is museums. So while most people probably know that the Huntsville is the home of the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, that's probably, if you know of Huntsville, that's probably what's going to stand out in your mind, rockets, you know, and astronauts. So it will kind of, if we didn't include that in our document, it would be almost like looking at a travel guide to New York City and not seeing anything about the Statue of Liberty. You know, this is our main attraction, and it's unique to us. So even though people may have heard about it, we want to highlight it because not only is the U.S. Space and Rocket Center important, you know, a fun place to go, but kind of the story behind it means a lot to Huntsville. So this, you know, we're not just going to talk about just, oh, go to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. It's, you know, got lots of exhibits. We're going to talk about the impact that NASA and rockets had on Huntsville and how you can see that impact in pretty much everywhere you go in Huntsville. And one of those examples is at the Huntsville Museum of Art. You know, as you see here in this picture, it's an image that you can find, this is a painting, I'm sorry, that you can find on display always. It's a part of the permanent exhibit at the Huntsville Museum of Art. And it just kind of shows that interesting, you know, space exploration theme exists throughout Huntsville, no matter where you go. But it's important to also show that there is more to Huntsville than just rockets. There's art, even though you may still go and look at art and see something that has something to do with NASA. But the whole goal of museums is to show, you know, the different range of culture that you can experience. You know, you can go learn about, you know, rocket propulsion, but you can also go and learn about art, very two different aspects, but a really well-rounded experience in Huntsville. So the last topic that I'm going to discuss in this presentation is how to meet new people. This, again, is not a unique problem to Huntsville, but Huntsville has some great ways that you can meet people, and one of those organizations is Huntsville Young Professionals. It's an organization that brings people together, and that's really what they do. I'm fortunate enough to know one of the board members of Huntsville Young Professionals, Hande Kwok, and you can see her image here on this slide, and she was good enough to sit down with me and answer some questions. And so we're going to share her, kind of an inside look at Huntsville Young Professionals and really how they strive to bring people together, because that's what they do. And it's free, again. So for young people looking for a way to meet people, it's a great way to get involved with people from around the city. And then another way that you can meet new people is to join an adult sports leagues. One of those adult sports leagues is an organization called Go Kickball. It's actually a national organization, so it's possible that maybe one of these readers have heard about Go Kickball, or maybe even played part of a league with Go Kickball in a different city. And so it's just a really great way. You don't have to know anybody. You can just sign up. You'll get placed with the team, and I mean, that's an instant way of making new friends, because when you spend time working as a team, it's hard not to get to know people. So that's kind of just what we're going to talk about, is just those ways that you can make friends and you can build a life here in Huntsville. Again, there's going to be more topics than the ones that we discussed, but just didn't want to bog you down with everything that is going to be in the paper. But the whole point is to show that there is something for everybody in Huntsville, and that you can have a great life in Huntsville. And I'm going to just leave you with, of course, the star, the symbol of Huntsville, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. I hope you enjoy the presentation, and I hope you enjoy the final project. Thank you for listening and watching.